Hi, my name is JC, and today we're going to be talking about the 10 features that can make you be perceived to be more masculine. And if you do not have these features, what are your options that you can do to have them? Now, most of you won't have all 10 of the features, and if you do, you're probably attractive. Let's get started. Number 10, thick eyebrows. Ideal masculine eyebrows are usually thick, dense, and low, while feminine eyebrows might be a little bit higher up and thin. I'm going to show you an example in 3, 2, 1. As you can see, you can lose a lot of masculinity by just your eyebrows, and a lot of people don't really realize this. But what if you didn't have any eyebrows at all? What does it look like? 3, 2, 1. So as you can see, he looks very androgynous here, but what are your options if you want to have thicker eyebrows? Well, one, minoxidil. There's a little bit of research that says minoxidil can help thicken the eyebrows just a little bit more, but you have to keep on it and you have to do it for the rest of your life. Also, there is a little bit of eyebrow pencil that is an instant gratification. You can do a mixture of minoxidil and the eyebrow pencil to create that dark density if you want to, because a lot of you will have average dense eyebrows. Some of you will have sparse eyebrows, but not as many of you will have thick dense eyebrows. Now, if you want to do something else, you could do semi-permanent, which is microblading. Microblading is another alternative that you can do, or tinting your eyebrows is also an option as well. For shaping your eyebrows, I recommend you go to a barber that you trust so they can even out everything. Just make sure you don't necessarily overgroom it, but they can even out the tails and things like that. Now we're going to move on to number 9, a thick neck. So having a thick neck can change the perception of how your face is received. So if you have a thin neck, you might look a little bit more boyish, you might look a little bit more smaller. However, if you have a thick neck, that can add masculinity, especially to the perception of your lower third. So I highly recommend it. I've shown a couple of exercises right here, but you guys can go to Jeff Nippard on YouTube, and he basically has a great video on that. Number 8, clothing. So whether you're male or female, clothing can actually influence the perception of how you're received. For instance, if you were to be athletically built, you want something that is a little bit more fitting and is cut so that it can basically show the overall male form. It's a little bit more difficult if you are overweight. However, if you're a woman, you also need to understand if you're wearing such things as like overalls or anything that is very boyish, then that can also give the perception of a tomboy. Number 7, your nose. So even noses can look masculine or feminine. So the angle of your nasal columella, the line that separates the nostril near the upper lip, should be roughly 90 degrees. However, there's a lot more flexibility when it comes to different types of sizes for noses when it comes to men. Number 6, a muscular body. So a lot of guys are a little bit too skinny or they're a little bit overweight, and so having a muscular body and working towards the Adonis ratio or the golden ratio is somewhere an ideal place to go, because in that way you won't be necessarily too big, because that is a factor that can happen. You can become too big, or you would be a little bit underweight and a little bit too small. And so I think the Adonis ratio and the golden ratio 1.618 is kind of like an ideal place to be as far as working out. Number 5, strong jawline. So this is the one that everyone wants to know how to self-improve. Well, between the years of 0 and 16, those are the most crucial years for facial development, depending on what you do. Of course, there's genetics, but if you were to mouth breathe or do anything like that, that can completely destroy your face and derail of how your face is supposed to normally develop and can cause you to have bad facial development. Is mewing going to make your jawline incredible? Well, not really. Mewing is just a preventative measure, and it's just proper tongue posture overall. I can make a whole video about it. So what are your options that you actually have? So if you're still going through puberty, you can chew things like almonds, carrots, broccoli on a daily basis, not a weekly basis. And these things are very crucial during those developing years. Not only that, make sure you talk to your orthodontist to make sure your teeth aren't crowding, make sure your teeth aren't misaligned, because if you have an overbite or underbite, that can actually make your jawline look off. So these are things that are called malocclusions. So after that, even if you're an adult, you should still get your teeth corrected. I personally had Invisalign done. However, a lot of you might not be lean, so a lot of you might look like this when you could possibly look like this. 10% body fat is the most ideal. Cosmetic options, you have things like Restylane that you can use for your jawline and jaw implants. Here are a couple to give you an idea of what a jaw implant might look like. Number 4, hair and beard. So short hair can really masculinize the face. So a great example is when a woman shaves her head, and technically the feminine version would be if a guy were to have very long hair, it can also feminize the face. For a lot of you average guys out there, a beard will save you. Essentially what you have to do is make sure that you trim a beard to make it look like a jawline and keep it maintenance, because a lot of you guys allow your beard and you do not essentially clean it up a bit. You have to make it sharp and clean. The last 3 features, you'll never guess what they are, but what if you don't know where to begin? Well, you can just text me, or if you need a person to talk to on a regular basis about this type of topic, that's what also you can text me about. So there's a new episode that is Rate My Face, and you can essentially look at it at the end of this episode. And now we're going to go to number 3, a brow ridge. And this is how deep set eyes are created, but you can check and see if you have a prominent brow ridge by taking a picture of your side profile and then looking and see if it's protruding. This is more so genetic, you can't really do that much about this. Number 2, your voice. Is your voice low, high, or neutral? I think a lot of us can understand voices can make you sound feminine and voices can make you sound masculine. So, what can you do? Essentially, your breathing is one of the most important things to understanding if you want to lower your voice. So, breathing from your diaphragm rather than breathing shallow breaths from your chest is probably the most ideal thing. And if you want to know if you're breathing correctly throughout the day, if you wake up and essentially your voice is significantly deeper when you wake up and versus than when you go about your day, most likely you are breathing in a more relaxed state when you are sleeping. And then when you wake up, as the day progresses, you are probably breathing in a very tightening way that is tightening your vocal cords, that's making you sound a little bit higher. So practice on breathing through your diaphragm. Number 1, posture and demeanor. So posture and demeanor can make you look masculine or it can make you look feminine. Typically the men initiate with their chest and shoulders, especially when they walk or hold themselves, and typically women initiate with their hips. If men were to even adopt any of these feminine features, they will also be perceived as feminine. Like and share, leave your comments below, and see you in the next episode.